Now pull us up to go live on YouTube. All of a sudden I have my nose is itching. Isn't that interesting?
It says we're live on YouTube.
I know, right? It says we're live on Zoom. It says we're live, but of course over on the YouTube screen it hasn't launched yet.
It says you're streaming live on YouTube.
Yep. So welcome to Corona Rising. I'm Sheila Corona, and we're coming to you live tonight with my guest, my friend, BZ Rieger from Living Life in HD. And I thought this morning, the last time I shared, which was during my live just a moment ago, actually, I realized that if I was right, this was day 33 for you, and that holds a sort of specific significance, actually, for both of us, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I want to pull this up on my channel and see because on this was day 33 for you, and that holds a see, the tablet that's how far behind we were, but at least it's there. For some reason on my desktop, it's not. There we go. It wasn't showing as live. I wanted to make sure that everything's working properly. Okay. So tell everybody what day 33 of your transition. I made it day 33 of your transition, transformation, creation. I know there's more to that. So,
well, today was a long day so far, just because it was a JOB day. And it's spring, and normally I do a ton of planning, and so I'm trying to teach some of what I do. Is the job that I do has many different parts. So when I leave, it'll be parceled out to probably 4 different people. One of them will have to be hired on specially, and then other people will take care of the other stuff. So that's the theory. Anyways, so with the just doing stuff with the garden and teaching people how to do things who don't know how to garden. And but I got a break a little bit at lunchtime, so I was working on a thing. I mentioned it, I think maybe the last time you and I talked, but I mentioned it in one of the daily video journals, that I got together with some other land alchemists, and we put together a presentation. So it's land retrieval of your fragments of your soul as you've gone throughout your life to different places, different lands, different places.
I just saw something flash for me. Hey, Lori Wheeler, I'm so glad you could join us. I had a live earlier today with Andrew Foss. He writes a blog called astrogardens.com, and it's all about suburban gardening, using the stars and astrology, right? And the energies. And he introduced me to astrocartography.
Mm-hmm.
And the lines of energies and where they cross the earth, and what they, I just now saw the connection of what you're doing with the land alchemy, right? The clearing, and all that entails, because I'm not quite sure all of what, because that's something that you're bringing forth, right?
Yeah, well, it's something that I've been trained in for a year and a half now, and then parts of that are as like anything that is what I think of it is, where it's heart-based or organic based, there may be protocols that people have delivered and developed, and then if they want to train people to do that, but if it's truly in a process that's a living process, anytime someone new, like you with the BQH and everything else. Anytime someone new meets it, then they bring their life force to it, and they actually, create another new component of it that's unique and bringing forth. And that's what these living practices, these living, tools and all those things are why they're so powerful, because they're not static, because they can never be in the old energy, because they're always being brought forward.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That was my exact experience with the energy that's a lot of folks are introduced to. For, like for me, that was kind of what introduced me to energy, was Reiki, right? I mean, that's oftentimes the first energy outside of oneself one gets introduced to at first, or at least, like I said, it was for me. And much like that, I've noticed that, yes, I think it was important for me to learn the how to, right? Because we talked about that before in another conversation, where that helped me train my focus and attention.
Right.
But once that became a part of me, that's something also that we've talked about before. The symbols, the pomp, the circumstance that goes along with that was no longer necessary, and it proved itself to me really very early on, although I didn't grok it as such. When I was sitting at a red light getting ready to turn left, and all of a sudden the energy turned on. I hadn't asked for it. I hadn't brought it with the symbols. I didn't intend for it to happen. It just poof, it was there. And after I made the left-hand turn, I saw that there was indeed a terrible accident ahead. And so it's just a part of us, right?
Yeah.
And I exactly feel exactly what you're saying. And by your bringing it forth through you, and the resonance of things that you carry in your field, and those that are attracted to that resonance, you will then assist in translating that which you've been trained and is also coming through you with that land alchemy. That's the way I.
Yeah, and one of the things that's particularly, not only with the land alchemy, but with the soul inspired blueprints and some of the other things that I've had more linear land based, but I've had an awful lot of really cool out there non-corporeal, at least at this moment anyways, corporeal beings who've really trained me and taught me and brought me through a whole hard work courses to to figure these things out and to show them and bring them forward. But one of the things that's really cool, and it will be when I put the recording out that of this gathering that we did for the soul retrieval of the fragments from Lan, and it was 3 of us that did it, so it was a nice triad that did it, and each of the unique energies that each of us brought to not only the recording we just did and the whole practice, but that we each bring to what we're working on and what our focus is developing for in our land alchemy, and that component that we're bringing to our businesses. Each of us have businesses that have a couple of different things in them. But it's one of the things that we all remarked on, or one, Lisa mentioned, this was different than some of the other soul retrieval and fragments that she's done and other things, because it was so easy and gentle. And there's one of the main reasons for that now is because when you are doing this work or any kind of work like that, and it's a living work, and you are bringing yourself to it, and you are bringing yourself to it in a way that's clean and clear, and you have good housekeeping on all levels, energetic and everything else, then you're also coming into a mastery of it. You're bringing back when you were really good at it in ancient paths of yourself. so that's encoded in your DNA that's turned on. But at the same time, you're bringing in this shirt, in this beingness, a new component, a new facet, right? So maybe a whole nother version of it. And when they all meet, since it's all in the current energies and not, which doesn't have the same dualistic thing, which doesn't have the kind of the same rough and sticky edges that the other energies do, all of these processes are much easier in the flow and in what gets brought to fruition for people than they used to be, which is
It feels
very
like that to me. Yeah, I feel exactly what you're saying. And and it feels exactly like that to me too, you know? Like it's just easy. Feels very easy for me to notice my own junk, and
right.
also then be gentle with myself as I'm noticing my own junk,
Right.
and then forgiving of myself for having the junk to begin with, all that kind of stuff. I love that. I love that. I don't know. It just, you're right. And it feels like it mo- able to move through that much quicker.
Mm-hmm. One of the things too that I am noticing um, these days, if you call it forth, if you're doing something and you're doing it in an intentional way. So I have two examples. So one example, I was doing a soul inspired, a full soul inspired blueprint reading with a client. And so, you start by saying hi and all that. And then I open, a sacred space and call in various beings, and I add in that it has the four directions, and so there's a process to it. Sometimes I may just call in my usual team, and sometimes I'll be prompted by the other being's soul to, and their soul is there and their master guides are there, but I may have, someone else that's new shows up, and that's for sure. So when you these days, if you do it intentionally and you're bringing that circle so it's an energetic envelope, and then you close it at the end and you release everyone back to their best places and stuff, and you could say that the energies are so fine and so we're so immersed in them that they're easier to feel for everybody, if you're used to feeling them or if you're not, right? And so it was interesting because in this case with this client, when it was done, and I, and the reading had been giving a lot of information for this person, but at the end they could feel, and I said, okay, and I closed the circle, they could feel all the other beings leave the room. They could feel like, the door opened and a bunch walked out, and then so the energy was different. And so that I've never had it be quite that palpable, but more and more it seems to be. And the other thing that I noticed it is, you can, when there's days, if they're astrological alignments, or if they have to do with portals and energy and numerals and combination of different things, you can do something on one of those days. It's a really good day if you're creating something either for yourself, or like myself, if I'm creating an activation or something like that. And for an example, I was doing one on on the solstice, and I was just doing a ceremony for myself, and I was working on some things and calling some things forward. And in that, it was lovely, and the room was very full with all sorts of beings. And right at the finish of that, the energy was palpable. And the dogs and the cat are like, zonged, kind of paws up, thinking, okay, this is cool. And the air was shimmering. It was very wonderful. And when I finished that, just for myself, I was then asked to right now turn on the computer and create an activation that would hold this same energy. And I was like, okay, so needless to say, no, don't have time to write it, just go right from the heart. And so I did it, and I put a little bit, and I was guided to put a little bit at the beginning of what this was coming after, right? So this was the ceremony, and then I have it as a product, and I was doing it for, forgot, someone was listening to it, because I mentioned how it carried over, and they said, wow, you can really feel, it feels more up level, like there's more of a scope to it or something. So I thought that was interesting. So there are different ways that we can each play whatever, however we're doing things, where but we have to direct it. We've got to call it in and then use that. So it's, if the sun is something you're doing, let's say as a simple thing, the sun is out and it's really warm and it feels great and it's sunny and it's been raining where you are, but you're doing something now with the energies, you can hold the sun for whatever creation you want to make, and it will make it brighter, sunnier, if that makes sense. So we can actually play with and work with the energies that we can bottle it up. So this is interesting, someone just came into me, if you make maybe you make cosmetics from herbs or hand creams or something like that. So if you're focusing, when you do that, and you maybe do your gathering and stuff on a certain time, or when you're actually going to mix it, and you call all that in so that it's infused. It could be a certain, like a full moon this or a new moon this, and it gives a uniqueness to what it is you're creating, but it also is infusing more power that's actually bottled up in the product, or a song, or anytime, if you're maybe you write music and you're recording on that particular thing, you call all that in, but you need to call it in. So it because it's a free will choice, we've got to pull it in.
Oh, you are so right. I will tell you, I was sharing that a little earlier today, and well, every day this week actually, because for me, I see so very clearly now that the last 7 to 10 days, well, a week ago today, I now recognize it for exactly what it was. It was like my soul was saying to me, okay, this is it, man. If we're not gonna merge, don't turn around. Don't. I got that earworm. I woke up with it, Ace of Base. Don't turn around. You'll see my heart breaking. And then later on, I couldn't figure out why I was getting that song, right? And then later on, I realized I was humming that song I texted you about, or that I sent you the email about.
Yeah.
And I realized that my soul had been wooing me for a very long time. And I feel like it was like, okay, look, I just can't take this anymore. I'm just going to stand over here and don't even just do whatever, because the soul will not push. This is not
Right.
how that works. And I got to tell you, I was, when I realized that that's what I was doing to me, I went all kind of weak kneed, and I have been like on cloud nine for the last, because I don't know, it just felt so delicious to actually see that. And to know that on whatever level, I got this. We all got this. Like you said, it is a free will choice, and I'm looking forward to the discovery, the continued discovery of all that I am, because so far it's been pretty effing fantastical. Remember me, the girl that thought she was in the wrong place at the first one of your creator calls?
Or not connected, right? There was several shows after, but to help you get connected. So
Right. Well, listen, I have told everybody, BZ, that even though those conversations do not live on Corona Rising, they do live on BZ Rieger's channel, And that BZ Rieger's channel is featured on Corona Rising. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll see BZ Rieger. Go over there, subscribe to her channel, and go back through, because listen, the first time we actually had a conversation was in 2017.
Yeah.
October of 2017. And it was on like Donkey Kong ever since, so yes, all of those conversations where we were together do still live on BZ's channel. And so, yeah, the girl who thought she was not connected, and and I laugh now. So funny. Well, a lot of, like I said, those conversations, those conscious conversations with you, with Lisa, with other beings that were, kind enough to step up and be my translators. That really did a thing for me personally. And that's what all of this is about for me, is knowing that we each singularity of the one, we sort of planned it so that none of us have all the answers. And I think that's by design, because this is sort of I just said earlier, I now see this as a quest, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And because the game is changing from domination and control / power over other to something completely lovely and different, now, the playground that I have envisioned, that is completely unknown. And I've discovered that I must acknowledge the state of my consciousness that I am in, and realize that to jump from that traumatized, in most cases, right? We're still dealing with traumas that we're healing and releasing. From those traumatized states, to jump to the unknown, we have to let some of that trauma go, because that ain't how this works. We can't.
Right. Well, and also, as you were mentioning too, that a lot of when you got here, you had a plan before you came in. That's part of the soul, the work that is the soul inspired blueprint. So you're realizing that. So you're getting up to speed, and you're actually translating into something that you can speak in whatever language you speak in, but in also all of your multidimensionality.
Right.
And once you do that, and you're learning that, and you're going, oh wow, and so you see what was struggle or challenge was something to polish off some rough edges, and you can turn and realize that now that's a superpower. Right. If you shift your perspective a little bit, you can see that. The other thing that's really important, again, is that we talked about, where you have to give your consent. You've got to give voice to it. You've got to call it in. And that's where we're moving to now. Everything is new and it's unknown, except that even you in the shirt knows it on some level, because you're co-creating with your soul in the moment now. So you have your foundation, and you're creating your soul inspired blueprint 2.0 in this moment.
Yep.
And moving it forward, which is very cool, because there's the old holdovers from pre-birth are phoenixing and coming into a whole new chapter right this moment. So there's much more integration, much more alignment, and much more power. So that means that if you are not paying attention, then you're going to have more power to all of your different creations, which is why it's helpful to pay attention to what it is that you're saying, and how you're speaking to yourself, and how you're working with others.
Which, I got to be honest with you, which is why tools like your soul inspired blueprint, which is a tool that I've experienced with you, things like astrology, the human design, all of these are tools, the invisible garment. For me, all of these are tools that have helped me get to know more about me, because they are the blueprint of energies that I designed for this specific embodiment of divinity. Thank you
Right.
very much.
Absolutely.
And my delving into all of that at the pace that I can handle, which, is self-taught and slow because, it is self-taught. And astrology in and of itself is a lifelong study. It's science. It's not woo-woo. The more I learn about astrology, the more I'm like, oh, that's why they didn't want folks looking into this, because boy, you sure gonna find out who you are if you're open enough to actually start looking at some of this stuff that they're trying to call woo-woo and see how it applies to you. That's where the empowerment has lie for me.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
in seeing me, in seeing how I planned this existence and being able to, at this point in my life at 60, granted, I got a little more, eyeballage coverage. I can look at my past than maybe most, but to be able to look at that sort of trajectory and see these energetics that are in things like the soul inspired blueprint, like the astrology, like the Sabian symbols, like the human design, like the invisible. This all of that just points to what my plan was. And I can see it very clearly. And I'm happy to report that I'm following my plan, apparently, because I am like overjoyed in these moments. And that to me is those synchronicity, those signs, because I've been asking for them and they've been showing up in droves.
Yeah.
And even if I'm on the wrong path, this one feels pretty dang good, and I'm gonna just keep going.
Well, and astrology is one of those other things, on the one hand, you could say, well, it's mapped out, it's been there forever, but there are new things coming into that, Pam, can't even listen.
Pam Gregory.
Pam Gregory, yeah. She's talking about the corporate belt objects, and so there are more new things coming in which add to the energies and how they interweave with each other. So because everything is changing, everything is going up an octave or more, and so we're bringing ourselves to that as well.
Exactly. Exactly. As a matter of fact, there's a project that actually came in for me that I'm going to be experimenting with and bringing forth myself, that has to do with some of that, and that exactly what you're speaking on, bringing in the new and incorporating creation of each, and I highly recommend anyone that feels drawn to doing something like that. Oh, there's a reason. Oh my, but there's a reason.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to pull forth whatever it is you feel to pull forth.
Well,
Um,
and I just want to add right here, that's really important. When you feel either, drawn to go research something, or, you hear something, you kind of is noodling around and you're getting nudged, that's your soul speaking with you and wanting to say, let's play with this.
mhm.
And when you look at it from that perception, you realize, oh, this is not just some new thing, or I'm going off on a tangent. No, you're actually bringing that tangent to you because you're cosmic cookie bowl, right? You're adding these ingredients that may be some of what has been here before, or way that things were doing, but your component, your energy meeting that is needed in these moments to bring something in it's a totally new way, because it's expanded in different ways and it didn't exist before.
No, you're absolutely right. It is the exact merging that I feel that is going on within this vessel that actually is because it's a symbiotic merging. It's moving from two differing things into a third brand new being, for one thing.
Yep.
Okay. For me, that's what I feel is going on here. Right. And so that brand new being will emanate uh well, first of all, anything it's feeling. And so again, I'll stick with what I got going on right here, because this is so much more enjoyable than some of the stuff that I was feeling not that long ago. I feel even younger, happier, joy filled, and nothing in my circumstances has changed. I'm still sitting here. Candy still needs to tune up. I still don't have the cash to get her fixed and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So nothing in the outside has changed. It's all right in here, and it's quite delicious. And I know what's coming is it will show up when it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know, I just can't even. And I still show that there are 4 folks watching, so I told you it's all about a 4 lately for me. That's very interesting. But I wanted to bring forward especially the soul inspired blueprint, because now I don't know, are you, because I know this being day 33 and you only have 40, right? So you got 7 days. Okay. And so I didn't know, I want you to speak on that, like, because you may have some folks contacting you to see about,
Yeah,
having
that would be great. The I did one, like I said, that when I mentioned, um, client got in touch. So you can go on the website and go through the whole process there. Um, and
and we're going to have a link to that in the show more section, but
yeah,
just if you want to go there now, you can go to livinglifeinhd.com.
and you'll see a big square that says Soul Inspired Blueprint. It's right at the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
But you can go through that. There's a full one or the mini reading. The full one is better simply because it really lets you dive into what's going on. And what's very cool, because this is something that you and your soul created, right? And I'm a guide in doing it. So when I do the prep work, I'm spending it's about an hour and a half, a little bit more on the prep work before we even get on the reading, so that I can bring all the information, what wants to be highlighted. Your soul is directing me what wants to be highlighted from them and what's going on. And then you and the shirt can come if you have questions or where you want to take it when we're there. But it's really a dance where and they've changed as I've been doing it. They've changed. They've had more. They're getting more expensive. They're getting more new energy. So in other words, they're coming with the foundational pieces that are in your blueprint that you came with, and then also something may be called forth in that moment, to have you explore. Either you're working on something, or I may ask a question that's coming right through to ask, and it's taking people in different directions. What's really cool about it, then I give you, so you have the recording from that, which is going to be 70 minutes, at least 75 minutes. So you get that, but also there's notes and the actual blueprint reading, the chart of it. So you get all that's about 10 pages. But what you can do is then you can look at different sections of your blueprint, and you can just contemplate. You might just read it's, this is my spiritual talents or something, right? And you might look at the number, the creation code that is in that, and just play with that through it with your head throughout the day, or write it down and put it in your pocket. And again, what we were talking about, giving voice to, I would like to give me some more information about this, or where can I expand on this more? And people have been saying that they do that, and they're finding that they're getting answers back. And for a moment, they kind of forgot what the question. They're like, oh wait, that matches with this, and they can see it. They may feel things, they may hear things. Some may get pictures or videos like I do. So it comes in when it's natural in a rhythm for you. And again, more things are coming online for everybody. So you may get something in kind of the way you've been getting it before, and something new. So with this and all things, it's really helpful to remind yourself and teach yourself to be open to how you'll be communicating with yourself and showing yourself things.
Well, I love that though. I hadn't even, you know what? That is like perfect to bring forth there, to use that as a meditative point, to see the information in the printout that you provide, and then ask questions about that. Because see, to me, that is how folks, anybody really, will prove to themselves or disprove to themselves that the woo-woo, Christ consciousness, whatever anyone wants to call what we got going on here, is real. And whether or not one can choose to become empowered for oneself. For me, it was okay. You say this can happen. Christ said it could happen. So in that case, I ought to be able to make it happen. and and finding out through things like this, what you're speaking on here with the soul blueprint, that is a beautiful way of making that happen for oneself, proving to oneself, I do have the ability to communicate with myself. Here's some
And
information.
it's a, whether you may buy hand tools or power tools or whatever they are. They don't have to be saws. They could be all sorts of things, right? If you're whatever you're like to do or your work is. But this is a tool. So when you buy the reading and you purchase it, you're buying a connection with you. There's some highlights bring forth. It's communicated to you in a way that's actionable for you. But it is a custom built tool for you, because you arrived with it on the planet. And when where you are in your whole awakening and you look at it and you start to connect with it, now you can take, was it like that multi-tool? So you can take the multi-tool of your soul inspired blueprint reading. You've had the reading, you can listen to it, you have all of the printouts and everything, but then just play with it, and something catches your eye. And so take that piece, write it down, take it with you just as a friend and have a conversation. Or maybe, if you hum or sing, incorporate that. There's lots of different ways that you can do it, and you'll be the one who will guide you on ways to play with it. And so contemplating is the simplest way, because you don't have to sit there and just be meditating. That'd be great, all sorts of things, but it will give you information, and it will you'll think of something, or you might hear a song, or you might see maybe a headline or something that has similar wording in or exact wording in it. And so then you're getting tangible signs on all of your bodies, all of your levels, and you can go, oh, one of the things that I do is I say, well, tell me more, right? That's interesting, or that's a curiosity, or that's kind of odd that phrase or something would show up there. And I remember, well, wait a minute, it's right there. That's where I saw it, right? So show me more, or what is it? Or it will come to you. You'll just all of a sudden know. You'll have that clear knowing that, and you'll go, oh, and the dot will connect. And so that's why I've been studying different parts of this for years and years and years, decades. And this other piece came through. That's why I went to get a reading for myself. And then before I even got a chance to take the reading, I was guided to take the whole training, because is so helpful, because it's not static, because it's a finely crafted, finely honed, fully customized. Think of any tool or anything that you can get, and you get the one that's the really customized, got all the whiz bangs, right? That helps you do everything. Well, this is it, except it's not customized for anybody else but you when you're using you.
Right.
So there's no staticness to it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed mine, and I found it very helpful. So I highly recommend that, if anyone is, looking looking into the truth of who you are and what you might have set up, well, might what you actually had in mind
Right.
on the higher levels of you for your experience in this particular existence. That's the way I look at this. I look at what is going on here. I've said before, I feel like my physical vessel, is a lensing mechanism for divinity. This is how divinity gets to experience this physical creation that it has figured out in its wisdom how to create as it moves through it. I'm convinced of that. But also, Jennifer Brown has joined us just now, I believe, or either that or it's so weird how this chat thing goes. I never know. She might have said that 5 minutes ago for all I know. You know what I'm saying? It's just so weird. I don't know what to think about these electronics. Well, I do know we had 2 solar flares from the sun today, so it's anybody's guess what anything is.
Lots of big sun activity, yeah.
Oh, I know. Well,
Yesterday, one exploded. It looked like a heart.
on top of everything else we have going on right now, for me, it's like I feel the uh blowing through veils like they're I don't know, like they were just so much like dust in the corner or something. I don't know. It's just very interesting how it feels to be going over here. But I was sharing that I really do feel like what you are offering is something very valuable. And I wrote down something that I want to share with you that I saw come in for you for this for that. I've experienced. We didn't do a conversation about my experience, did we?
Mm-mm.
Well, and it's been so long now, I don't even, I wouldn't know how to recreate that. But I gotta say, I did enjoy it and it was very helpful to me. And it's another one of those puzzle pieces for me that just showed me other aspects of my whole that I am choosing to work with, and they're undeniable to me when I see these aspects. Oh, I could sit back in different stuff like with my natal chart and I could say, oh yeah, sure, when I tell people stuff it feels like I'm stabbing them. I could deny that if I wanted to, but I know it's a true thing. I know how my words, I get it now. It explains a lot about my life, right? When you can see how, wow, that energy, how I manipulated that energy because I didn't realize that I carried that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
That when I see something in somebody's field, I think everybody can see it. So I just blah, 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 blah. And if you don't know it's there, that feels like I just stabbed you right in the gut. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only because of things like your soul blueprint and astrology that I got to see that particular trauma for myself and step up into a different state of consciousness now
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
allow.
why, when we talk about being creator beings, that we're 100% responsible. We are responsible, right, for what's within us and how our creative force works and all of the superpowers that we have. And we can choose how we're going to respond to that, how we're going to respond to someone else that we're engaged with, how we walk in the world. And it's not toning ourselves down. What it is just understanding that we are our individuality and we're powerful. And so when we meet other ones, we're responsible for how we navigate that with that person, because they may not be ready at the same level that we are. And so we have to be responsible. We've got to take ownership of all the considerable power that comes within us.
exactly.
and not be throwing it around all over the place at people, because some
Exactly.
people is no big deal. Some people it's like, hey, stop that.
No, exactly. No, you're so right. And then there's a big and in this for me. And I am big energy. And so now I can see very clearly what not knowing. First of all, again, remember, I see in somebody else's field, but I didn't realize that nobody else could see what I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, I was told as a kid, you don't see that, when I was seeing stuff,
Right.
right? So I was like, no, I'm only seeing what everybody can see. Because I was told about that a long time ago. So you know what I mean? But when I realized, oh, wait a minute, I can see things that other people don't see, sense, and feel. And so I have to gauge whether or not. Now, see, that's where you're talking about becoming response able.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that about me. And it wasn't anybody else's job to figure out that I didn't see that about me.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have to give myself some kudos because I surrounded myself with a whole bunch of projectors or seers, which is
Mm-hmm.
another term for what we are. You're one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and on purpose, so y'all could help me see, which I'm ever so grateful for. Jennifer said my reading that I received from BZ was excellent. It was an exchange that I was familiar with and recognized from her soul to mine and mine to me. Such a sweet tool for a soul communication. And BZ has the delicious ability to speak with your soul and open up your communication with self. I love that. Oh, Andrew Foss joined us too. He said, hey, stranger, we were just together this morning. I'm so glad you could join us too.
You mentioned earlier, I just wanted to put in here because it came around again. You mentioned that people can prove to themselves, whether it's woo woo or these different things. And yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the case with anything that you're doing. But also that's something for you to look at. What is it? Why is there a compunction around that? Right. So what is your perspective and perception of things that keeps coming up? One might then want to look at what are they needing to prove to themselves, right?
Right.
And how are they want to play with it? The other thing I wanted to put in that is that because it's very powerful for me, I've always been way out there, multidimensional, right? And way linear as well. And so all of the stuff that I'm products and services and stuff that I have in the business is all actionable. So in other words, you can be in really high vibration thing, you can be fully in your heart's desire, you can go in these different facets, but for me, the strength comes and the fun comes in proving to yourself, right, where there's that balance. So we agreed to be on this planet, we agreed to be in physicality, and we agreed to go through this journey. So we're not flying off someplace to leave the body. We're here to bring the mastery of all of us into this physical body. So in other words, making it tangible. My heart's desire is X, and we bring that forward, and you go through the steps. So everything that I play with, that I offer, and for people who want to play in various ways, is there's you could look at it as actionable spirituality. So there is way woo woo or very tangible, but there's steps that one can take and processes that they can move through that are designed to be customized to them, so that they can see, they can work at their own pace, they can call things forward, they can stretch themselves a little bit here and bring these things forward that they can touch, they can tangible, that they get a call and it has to do with a job opportunity or an expansive shift in the place you're working for, or something that you're looking for, instead of just and feel cool at the same time. So the activations or whatever else it is, it making you feel aligned with your heart, but you can also, well, that's interesting. I would say the tangible isn't just, it's physical tangible, but it's also tangible in your body, tangible in your superpowers, tangible in that way. So it is a balance of that thing that you could think it's more ethereal or woo woo, but you will have on the different levels of your being actual tangible evidence of it. It now may not be corporeal, right? But it's actual tangible evidence, which helps you move forward.
Yeah, see now I know that there's a whole school of thought out there that what we got going on right now is illusion, and that we actually, and I don't know, I'm open because especially since my last viewing of What the Bleep Do We Know, with my new more expanded consciousness on board, I don't want to take any position until I'm ready to take a position on anything. I've often said, anybody that had, that argument about whether the world is round or flat, and everybody's, because everybody's got it has to be one way or the other. I've said many, many times that I feel like if you think it's round, it's round. If you feel it's flat, it's flat. If it's concave, it's concave, because you are creator. And so keeping that and quantum positioning in mind, and my desire to step into the fantastical and something completely new and unknown to me, moving from one state of consciousness into that more expanded state, leaving those traumatic incidences behind, and pulling more of, again, through things like your land alchemy. I love what you're doing with that too. And the soul inspired blueprint. These things, all of these things have served me so well in well, pulling in really actually isn't even the right interpretation for me anymore. It's more of directing my focus and attention into where it has always been, sort of just hanging around waiting.
Well, you're this beautiful jewel. You could look at it as metaphor as a flower or a fruit that's ripening, right? That is coming to this kiss and blush of perfection, that is you coming forward. It was always there, right?
Yes, it was always there.
And now you're bringing it forward. But you're the one who has to bring it forward.
Well, that's very interesting. Jessica Maxwell, I'm so glad you could join us. She asked that I elaborate on what you mean by people being projectors for you. Well, in my search for, the truth of who I am, I found a type of astrology. I believe it is based on astrology, called the human design. And in the human design, there are certain archetypes. And I am what is called a projector, or also known as a seer, someone who sees into a situation, a field.
Into beings, yep.
Right. Can see, yeah, can just see a lot. And so I do now recognize that, but it's difficult as a seer that sees. It's real easy, and let me tell you, everybody on the planet actually can see. Because we all do that, don't we? I can see what's going on over there, and then I've made assumptions about what I see over there, right? We all do that sort of thing, but I didn't realize, again, that everybody couldn't see what I was seeing. So that's the thing. And I also realized that I was making a lot of assumptions about what I was seeing. and that's not
Well,
how I
that's
want.
right. And that's the responsible again. That's where you're being clean and clear, and you're meeting what you see, and you're working through it, integrating, and so that you can be a clear channel to give back what you're giving, right? But keeping what's yours of your own and what you see, keeping that, and the rest that doesn't get parceled out to others, and that's where the clear sight comes through. You know what I mean? That's when you can use it as a superpower, as a gift to work with others, help others, because you're not giving your stuff, you're sharing what is for them to see.
Well, as I said, learning that about myself, first of all, was so helpful too, in that I guess I had to see that first. Okay. But also, this whole thing with, what the bleep do we know movie again, the extended version, because I had never seen the extended version,
Mm-hmm.
number one. But number two, with the more expanded consciousness about the truth of who I feel we all are, um, seeing that showed me not just the moment I take a position on something, and whether a being wants to call that discernment or judgment or whatever it is on anything that is presenting itself to me. Doesn't matter what it is. The moment I take a position, I have assigned, it can become solid. That's for one thing I saw, but I also saw that depending on how I got stuff set up for myself and what all's taking place in the state of consciousness from which that choice was made,
Right.
I now see how quickly I will not only experience that choice, but also its opposite, because you're not going to experience because on the most quantum level, they are intertwined and all of
Yeah.
those things in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to make assumptions, judgments, or anything else about anything anymore, because I'm ready to release all of that in every way, shape, or form, because I feel what's coming and I want to keep it open to be able to just, I told you, I'm going straight for the fantastical. That's me, baby, because that's where we're headed. We
Yeah.
cannot create new earth from the same traumatized state of
No, and when
consciousness.
that's not where we're headed, we're already there.
Well,
It's
exactly.
unfolding
So
right now.
yeah, I hope that explained it for you, Jessica. Jennifer said, interestingly, Sheila can see all that is going on, and I had to adapt to that sensation of standing energetically. Thank you, Jennifer, for recognizing that. I know as I that was that's very uncomfortable for me to realize that that's a true statement. It does feel when folks are in my presence, because I'm willing and ready to stand bare naked and be me, all of me, to anyone who presents in my field, because that's what I desire. I wish to discover all the facets of me. And because I hold that in my field, it emanates. And sometimes those that are not ready to see perhaps some parts of themselves, it's very uncomfortable. And some people don't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it now. I do. And it's, there's nothing I can do about it, because that is how the field that I carry. And because I also amplify it, it's sort of,
Well, and also everybody's unique, because I'm a seer too, and
yes, we are,
we
thank
do
God.
things in a very similar way, and some things very different. And then I add in the videos come in that's showing me more, So I guess
Yes,
it's
you've
like
always
anything
had
else.
like that big movie screen. You've always had vision like a big movie screen that you see up full blown videos and
Yeah.
everything. And see that when we first started hanging out, that is partly why I want everybody to grok this. That is partly why I had trouble, because I had you sharing how you were seeing things and Lisa, and I was like, well, now I get it. We are all so unique, and that's the whole point, that it will be completely different. And I said, and that means that you hold and you have held some huge puzzle pieces for me in the way that you deliver them too, especially with that huge vision you got going on there.
Yeah, so that's why it's important too to realize that nothing is greater than or less than, it's just different facets of these different abilities. So you can have there, there is, again, that's where the commonality, so the unity and the individuation, right? So you have a commonality of the seer, you're using the word projector, but the seer, and well, yes, so there's commonality in that. There's unity in that thing that is a container of a ability to be a seer, to be a projector. And and then there are different facets, and there may be facets that are similar, and then they're diverse. So rather than saying, well, that's not, that's why I remember long years ago, and Lisa said, well, let's talk about telepathy. And I laughed and I said, great, except that it's, it's not just one thing. And what is that calls to mind when you think about it? And you're already doing a lot of telepathy because it comes in not always or not often, like, if you looked in a book and there's a description of it, because it's not cookie cutter, because everything is customized to us, and the customization comes from soul and all of our being and our guides and the aspect of us which is the spirit, the direct connection with source.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, BZ, I'm so grateful that you took out time on day 33 of your transition. I'm sorry, when I realized that we had actually scheduled this, and then I didn't even realize it till today that it was actually day 33, because 33 is one of it, and I'm not sure exactly where in my numerology. I had a numerology report gifted to me once, and I do carry that master number somewhere in my numerology. So and you, as you know, threes have been surrounding me quite a bit over the last few years. Now, for some reason, like I said, in the last little while here, fours seem to be presenting themselves in very interesting ways. And you brought up the whole thing with the four corners earlier today in our conversation this evening here tonight too. That's come up in several conversations with me with Lisa, and some other information that's presented itself of late. So I think there's more to come on that one, on that score. I really appreciate you taking time out, because like I said, I know you got exactly 7 days and then you are stepping out into the unknown on your own. And I know that, okay, look, I want everybody, anyone who has ever felt to, oh, I don't know, buy me a cup of coffee, get a reading with me, anything like that, I want you to head over to Living Life in HD and support this gal, because she is about to step out into the unknown
on every level. On every level. I haven't left anything out. Changing it all.
That's right. That's right. You are taking now. You named your little truck there. You named him Merlin, correct?
I was actually Merlin gave me the name to ask me, because it was an aspect of him coming through as my chariot to guide me.
Ah, I love that. I absolutely love that. So BZ and Merlin will be hitting the road 7 days from today.
Actually, 10,
day,
we
right?
hit the road 10 days, because I had to I had to leave my job so I could get my 3 of my PTO days off. So I stopped work and here's another delicious synchronicity. My last day of work is Earth Day on the 22nd.
Awesome.
And then I'll take 3 days here of PTO time, and hopefully everything will be done so I can just do whatever comes to heart.
I hope you get a chance to sleep at least 1 or 2 nights in Merlin before you actually have to go out and sleep in Merlin.
Yeah. Well, I
Okay.
will. I can do that at the cabin, at Toby's cabin, because that's right.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So I'll have to. So I leave here on the early in the morning of the 26th, and off I'll go.
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't know why, but the 26th feels auspicious to me for some reason. Well, energetically, it's an 8, which is the, all about materialization and manifestation for me. But I don't know. I have to look
I
at
think
that.
there's other energies that are some kind of.
I was going to say there's something specific about the 26th, I feel. So yeah, wow. So folks can contact you about the Soul Inspired Blueprint. You have both a mini reading and a full version available.
Right. Yep. And in the next few days, there's information. If anything that I've mentioned today that you want to know more about, you can email me. That's on there. But also in the next few days, I will be giving more attention to a lot of these things are already in the works. You just don't have them. Or actually, they're people are buying them or using the products or services. But I need to have it more on the site so it's easy to find and that all the details are there. And just because I have a full-time job that hasn't gotten any slower, and I'm training new people to do my thing, so creating the position, I have to write that out, and changing everything where I live, and creating, the new business even bigger. So yeah, so there's only so many hours in the day, and I'm doing a good job juggling them, but yeah.
Right. So, first of all, what I hear out of that is everybody be patient, but also what I also hear is, like I said, I honestly, if anyone, I would love for folks to just hit you up with a love offering at this point, because, but
They can
if
do
you
that.
also,
They can do that right on the thing. There's a hummingbird on the lower right hand side on the sidebar. So that would be lovely.
yes, that would be lovely. And you've got like an insider circle that is called the founding members, correct?
Yeah, that one actually well, I may do something on Patreon for the whole journey. But that little part is closed. It was just for
Oh,
the very beginning for those.
okay, I gotcha. All right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
But some of the things just came to heart here that I am if you're interested in learning to play with your abilities, I'm going to be doing a lab where we'll have it set up and it's containerized, meaning that you can, if people want to prove to themselves, so they can go and you'll have assignments and we'll work together, we'll play together. And then out in your neighborhood, you'll do the different things and I'll be setting up stuff where I'll be videoing something that's occurring. And if it's telepathy or different kinds of combinations of tuning in with your abilities, then one of the assignments will be you'll tune into this thing and you'll get the video afterwards and you'll be able to see, oh, that's what I was feeling. And this is what I was hearing.
I love that. What I hear, that sounds really cool. So you're going to set up a time and I look at that as a play. Okay. That's something that's like having where we're going to play a game.
Yeah.
And so you're going to go and do something while folks are tuning into you and the situation and the environment and all of that. Sort of like I'm getting the almost remote viewing vibe, the telepathy vibe, just,
Yeah, it's a combination of, yeah.
Right. All of what you have so beautifully termed your sensory array.
Right.
Right. So so everyone can engage their sensory array. Well, I love that, BZ.
Yeah. So people
Well,
can play together and they can show themselves, hey, wait a minute, I am connected. Hey, wait a minute, that's what I'm seeing or hearing or feeling. So you can, I mean, we may do things where it's for focusing on and strengthening specific superpowers, but also it's just to, people have this amazing toolbox, this amazing creative
absolutely.
abilities right within them, and they don't realize how gifted they are, and they're kind of discounting it all over the place. And this will be a way to help you. And there'll be, different groups of them doing, but they're 4 weeks or something, and so there'll be tasks that you'll do and ways we come together, and then you can use the same things, a jumping off point where you are in your world as well, right? And so you can see it, you can show yourself in that. Remember, everything is a balance between the fantastical and the tangible.
Absolutely. I love that you're doing this because, and it's easier, I feel like, for everyone to recognize it when they do. Okay. So I'll give you, for instance, of why I'm saying this. All right. So right before you and I met tonight for this live, I'd done a live on the channel just because I didn't do the collective earlier, right? Now, I had right before that had a FaceTime with my son who, like I said before, purchased and gifted me that new fancy dancy iPhone that I went live on for the collective, right? And I did my live and it was lovely. It was at least an hour. I didn't keep up with the actual time. And I had an instance where we had to mark the time because something came in, and the almost moment that I finished that live, I got a text from my son about, about the Easter weekend, right? Plans for family get together. And I was curious to see if he knew, because he was off and he knew I was going to go live.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of curious to see, did he know that I had stopped with the live, or did he just feel that I was stopped with the live? So I
Mm-hmm.
asked him, and he said, I felt that texting now made the best sense. Does that mean anything to you? And I said, actually, yes. And I let him know that I had just stopped, because he wouldn't have noticed his own connection in
Right.
that instant had I not shared with him, hey, pal,
Yeah.
guess what? I mean, that was like,
Right.
so I think that we're all saying, and I love that you're going to start something like that, a lab. I'd love to sign up to play with that. James was saying so many synchronicities lately, sometimes it can be a little disorienting. And Jennifer said, I'm looking forward to joining that workshop, another opportunity to play with our abilities and feel into how we receive the data and how we interpret it, which I love that too, because like I said, as we pull in our experiences, in our new experiences through our experiential filters, sometimes how we interpret that information is very helpful to someone else that may have
Yeah.
sort of a similar, experience in you, but it won't ever be identical. And that's why we all carry puzzle pieces for each other, which is what I feel, and why a co-creative way of going about this for me just feels like the most delicious in the
Yeah.
whole
And
world.
you're sharpening your tools. So whether it's at work or play or developing something or wanting to learn a tangible skill, all sorts of things, because you've got this amazing sensory array. Each
Right.
one does, and all these abilities. Wouldn't you like to be confident in knowing how to use them and play with them and bring you stuff that you want, and give you solution energy to solve something that's troubling you, or all sorts of stuff like that. And
I
that's how you do
actually,
it, you play with it.
right. I actually see what you're starting here, BZ, what you're going to be offering as another method of focus and attention, much like because I was shown immediately my intuitive hangout sessions. You know, I've always been very clear with everyone that I'm not doing that for everybody out there. I was very clear that what I was doing was honing my ability to trust what I heard,
Mm-hmm.
to give it regardless of what I think. If I put something on it, it's not what that person is signing up for, really. I mean, when they
Right.
come with something like that, right? And it was and is still. And to Jennifer's point there about how we receive and interpret the data,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's very interesting to me. Yes, I'm interpreting a certain kind of way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to mean the same thing for someone else, right? But all I have to go on is my interpretation. Again, based on the state of consciousness from which I am observing this, whatever I'm engaged in at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you're doing that, and I'm excited to participate in bringing that forth. So also tell us what the next. Do you know, or if folks sign up for your blog,
Sign
right?
up for the newsletter. Yep.
Right, they will be notified about the New Earth Community Porch
The
happening.
next one is actually the day I leave here. It'll be in the evening. It'll be on a new porch out in the new earth. It'll be on April 26th.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's why that's standing out to me, because the minute you started talking about it, I was being, I had the itchy nose. For me, that's always something to pay attention to when that happens, much like others, when I get something that's very pronounced. And
Yeah.
I was very pronounced. And I had that feeling about the 26th before.
So 5 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and the Zoom. I'll put the Zoom number up. I don't have it right in front of me, but they'll put the Zoom number up and ahead of time.
Is it the same one? It's you haven't
It
changed
is. I actually, whatever the one I gave you the other day, it's that one, and then that'll be for the 26th.
Okay, well, let me just here we go.
And they're fun, where people come and it's a community porch. So you sit on the porch and whatever is coming to the heart, and it's a wonderful kind of ebb and flow in the conversation.
I absolutely love that. That's kind of what we were doing with the campfire chats that I was facilitating way before Conscious Conversation Central. And I love that you just open the room and, hey, if you remember, and you just pop by, and it's like, coming up and meeting at the fence and having a little chat. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be on, you said April the 26th.
Yep.
And I'm
Tuesday.
going to give everybody the number. If you got a pen, write it down, because you did say you're going to make this the permanent number, right?
Yes. Well, certainly it'll be the permanent number for every time it's a Tuesday. Yep.
Right. Okay. So oh, wait a minute. This one is for Thursday.
I switched it. So
Okay. So sorry, wrong number. I don't have the right number.
No, you
But
do have the right number. You just have the wrong day of the week.
oh, okay. Because this is what I was giving out for Thursday.
Yeah, that's fine. So it's Tuesday,
gotcha.
the 26th, and then the number you've got is the right number.
Okay, and the meeting ID number is 895-6819-9057. Keep that number, and it will always be the same for the New Earth Community Porch. You will be asked for a passcode, and that way BZ doesn't have to come and actually let you in. And that is capital G, small, lowercase AIA. So Gaia, the word Gaia. So capital GAIA. And you said that's Tuesday, April 26th.
Yep, 5 p.m. Pacific to 6:30.
Right, which will be 8 to 9:30 Eastern. And so Tuesday, I will be there. I will be hanging out with you for that. I would love that.
Yeah.
I know I don't have anything on my schedule.
We'll
So I'm
probably hear some owls there because I'll be in a cabin in the woods on a New Earth porch there.
I hope you're going to be able to sit out with your feet on the ground. Oh my God, BZ, that's going to
That's
be
my
so.
intention.
Hey, you know what? I'll do that too. Because this is your gig. I don't have to record. I can use my fancy dancy iPhone and go join you out in my
There you go.
backyard.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for now.
Well, that's
Um,
cool. Thanks for having me play.
I want to make sure that everybody goes to, like I said, scroll down to the bottom, go to BZ Rieger on YouTube and subscribe, because you're still doing a daily blog about your transition.
Daily, yep, daily video journal.
Yeah, well, because this is, give paring down. I guess you lived in a tiny house, but you lived there since 2012, right?
No, I've lived here 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, 7 years.
But
Okay.
one of the things that's fun about the journal is it gives you specifics about what's going on and the transformation and transition I'm going through and things that come up in wrestling. But also it's if you're wanting to well, how do I manifest this, or how do I do this woo-woo stuff or not? How do I get it to work? And the video journal is showing you in real time, someone who has, not just a little thing, but big things, new place to live, new journey to go on, new direction, what's coming in, new connections, new business, new life altogether with the
Yep.
two Aussies and the cat.
Stepping into the unknown of creating the new earth for
Yes.
reals now, because that's leaving, and now that's the direction I'm headed in as well, and
Yeah.
I feel it. So I'm just so excited, BZ, and I know that because I've also kind of felt like our paths are going to kind of end up going like something like this, as you leave Washington State and head towards this way. At some point, I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not taking any kind of position, but we'll see what's happening. I feel that kind of thing happening.
Yeah.
What it means and how it works, I don't know, but
And everybody's making these changes. Some don't know it right this moment because the old is leaving
yeah,
demonstrably, dramatically so if you're not ready for it.
yeah,
And so how you create things, how you pay for things, all those kinds of things, all that's changing.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm so excited for it.
Me
I
too.
just want to celebrate you, and no matter how it turns up, I know we got this. We got this.
Yep.
Thanks, my love. I hope everybody will reach out. We'll have ways for you to get in touch with BZ, all the ways that you can get in touch with BZ in the show more section of this video. Um, how long it takes for that to actually process after a live stream, I'm not sure, but you can actually go straight to a little while later, give BZ a chance to, get her version of the video converted, but it will also live on BZ's channel. And so, like I said, go over there and subscribe, and you can see all the ways that you can reach out and get a hold of BZ. And listen, I love that you're doing that, because like I said, go over there and take a look at my first and second conversation with BZ. Just see. If you want to see what BZ Mike could help you with, just go on over there and see what between her and Lisa and others that were so kind to come up and help me see me. Yeah. So that's real interesting transition. Talk about transition of transformation.
Yep.
See how what it is that Lisa, and others do. How if you allow yourself to avail of these tools, of folks who are willing to not fix you, because I'm sorry, but that ain't how none of this work.
Nope.
It don't work like that. This is all you, baby. So It's more about folks showing you the tools that worked for them.
Yeah,
And they
guiding
may
and
not.
assisting. Yep.
That's right. And it may not totally, like I said, fix you, but if you commit to yourself, because that's the other thing, man. I had some really, really cool earworms this week. One of them was, how much do you commit to yourself? It was part of the lyrics. And I was like, well, that's a good damn question we got going on right
Right.
there. So yeah, if you're ready to commit to yourself, this gal right here can help you find yourself, because like I said, it's a very visceral I still, BZ, I want you to know, I know we've talked about this, but I still have not had the courage to go back and look at any of our videos.
Well, there's
Because
magic there, Sheila. There's magic because you'll see them on a whole new level, and there's components in you that are ready to meet what that brings forward.
do
I
you
mean, we're
think
talking
so?
skyrocket. Oh no, I don't think so. I know it.
Well, because, I've listened, there was a part of me that didn't want to go and do that because, I always had this thing. If I go back and watch myself on tape, it might keep me
Well,
from
you
doing
can
what
you
I
can
love.
just listen to the audio. You don't have to be looking at the computer screen.
Okay, well, that's a good. Well, it's not that, listen, it's not that I don't, because look, I love what this camera does for me. Are you kidding? There's some kind of filter on this thing that makes me look a hell of a lot younger than I am. Okay. I saw what it looked like on my iPhone today, live on YouTube outside in the sunlight. And this camera right here loves me. So it ain't that. Okay. I don't mind looking at my face. It's more, I don't know, like I would be mortified at how I wasn't as awake as I thought I was. It's more like that, you know what I mean? And I do know I've come a long way. It's just like, I don't know. So I will, maybe I'll feel into that and see what titles call out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause you're right. Maybe it is time for me to.
And just listening to the audio too takes the whole perceptual thing away because it doesn't have those pictures there. Listen to the audio so that like you're hearing another conversation and the questions that you present or things that are going through, you'll see it. Listen how you now are answering that and playing with that. You have so much for you right there, so much gift that you're giving yourself and the others in the conversation in that moment because you're in a whole new level. You'll be
That's
really
true.
surprised.
I think maybe I will do that. That's very interesting, VZ. I think maybe I will. James said, so many beautiful threads are now being woven into the tapestry. That is so true. Jessica said, I thought her trees looked similar. I'm in Washington State too.
Cool.
Well, Jessica, I hope you'll go over and subscribe to BZ Rieger's channel, because you also do, because, and I forget to bring this forward, but people need to know this. You also do light encoded photography. And I
Yes.
want to point out this back here, this photo that I have back there. You can't really see it very good. But I've also used it for a thumbnail. That was a gift from BZ because I fell in love with that. You texted that picture to me and I was like, oh my God, that's my path. I'm stepping into the unknown. And it's so gorgeous. I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna show it. There's lights back here. I hope they won't bother everybody. Oh, I just knocked everything down. Of course, that's how that goes. But this for me, there was so much in this stepping into the unknown. And I just felt like that was because it's very hard to see, but there's a path here that
Yep.
you can barely see in the background through the mist of perhaps a building. And you are embarking on that as an offering also to folks, because that there was a lot in that for me, and it meant a lot to me that you gifted it to me for my birthday that year. And it absolutely just resonates for me how I'm choosing a path that I can't really see where it's going to lead, and that's okay. And that just, I don't know, that picture felt like I said, safe, and it was good. I could step through that mist and know that I got this,
Yeah. Well, that's
And
what the light encoded photography does. It again is one of those things, is meets you where you are, and it unfolds your section, your thread, as a gentleman just mentioned, your thread of what is coming, and there are codes in there for you.
yes, I love the way I just saw that the threads that what are coming and how it reaches out to that divinity that's already there and also seeking it. I see that in such a different way now when you've said that before, right? I've seen it, but from a different um facet or
Right.
perspective. So thank you so much for that. So all of these things that I've been sharing with you, you can take a look at and partake of at livinglifeinhd.com. And you can reach out to BZ there as well, right? BZ Rieger, or just BZ
Just
at,
busy at living life.
okay, BZ at livinglifeinhd.com if you have any questions on anything.
Yeah.
If you have any problems trying to find anything on the site, just do that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, hey, I almost forgot. We need to tell folks to go to your Facebook page. It's publicly available,
Yep.
BZ Rieger, because you have a link pinned there
Mhm.
to the 3-day wisdom summit
Yep.
that you are featured in. And today was the first day, but folks can still sign up, right?
They can sign up for free, and you have 2 days to listen to each of the days, and that's fine. So that's still going. And then I'm on tomorrow. And
Awesome.
there's 30 women from all over the world, what their passion is and what they're bringing forward. It's fascinating group of.
Okay. Awesome. Now, is that something that will be streaming live? So will you be doing that live?
No, I won't be doing it live. It's already there, so it can be organized. But you can go, if you sign up tonight, first thing is it changes tomorrow. You'll see, and you'll have access to
All
all the
the
ones on that day.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. And like I said, you can find that by going to BZ Rieger. And if they go to your channel, because that's where I can direct them right from here. If they go to your channel, they can find
The
all that
YouTube channel.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can find all that information on your about page too, right? How to
Um,
get to
I,
your Facebook.
I don't know if I have that there, but
Oh,
but
okay.
if they look on day 31, you'll see the direct link
Okay.
to the actual Wisdom Summit.
Oh, okay. That's
And
awesome.
that in that journal entry.
Okay. All right. Jennifer is asking if you have any of your light encoded photography on your website presently.
Not yet. I have it all ready to go. I'm just trying to figure out the right mechanism.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay.
But
Well,
give me
I apologize if I brought that forward too
no,
quickly,
no,
but
it's not too quickly. No. I mean, it's have to do it. It's in my process in the next 4 or 5 days to be able to start to have a gallery and people can choose, and I'll have, cards and all sorts of things.
well, I
And
have
I'll
to.
also have it if you want to, for certain images, you can download them and then print them yourself. So that's a difference in price. You can have nice things and
Right.
not have to spend the extra money.
Right. Well, like I said, for me, it was such a sweet gift because I knew just looking at the digital photography when you sent it, it did something immediately for me. It just and I can't even describe it. And then having it here, and it changes, by the way.
It
It
does.
is a bit of a portal. It also, at times for me, feels very much like, especially when I view it in the camera from back there, it looks and feels like a fire, a campfire, which is also very synchronistic and sort of cool because the campfire chats were the first thing I ever facilitated before Conscious Conversation Central ever came along.
Mhm.
So one evening as I was looking back, and somebody else actually thought that it was, so that was really very cool. I love that you're going to be doing that too. So
And with those things, one of the things I'm going to do is um, I've actually been recently nudged to do them is a flip book, so you can flip them online. But there are you actually go into the thing, so they're like portals. There's a way for you to have geometric codes from them. They may be on topics, maybe a word or an emotion or an ability, different things, and the imagery is coming forward to for you to play with. Again, it's a tool for you to play with. So as you look at it, and so there'll be some, to that. Well, if you're for subscribers, I'll say, hey, this month I've got a gift flip book for you that's on this topic to go play with. And
oh,
then
I love
there'll
that.
be different paid versions as well. Yeah.
Right. I love that. Okay. Well, we'll have to get back together and do a conversation when you're ready to bring that forth so we can share what that will actually
Well, we
feel
can
like.
play with a couple live.
I would love that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much again, and everyone for coming and joining us. And I hope you found this interesting and helpful. Please do go over and take advantage of what BZ's got going on over there, because it's like I said, it was so has been and are continuing conversations have been so very helpful for me. I cannot recommend everyone finding the perfect translator for them enough, because wow, the rewards of this sort of thing for me, there's nothing like it. And uh, to, like I said, to see the transition, which really has been very, very very noticeable, I would think, over the lifetime of our association.
Mhm.
Just the expansion of consciousness and my own trusting of myself
Yeah.
has changed. So, all right. So, till next time, everybody, I hope that you will continue to choose your highest joy in every moment that presents itself to you. Mwah.
Good
Good night.
night.
Bye.